Hello everyone and welcome to The No Show. I'll be your host Nathan Orenstein, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mean Girls. Mean Girls is written by Tina Fey, directed by Samantha, Jayne, and Arturo Perez Jr. It stars Angourie, Renee, Rapp, Auli'i, Cravalho, Avantika, Bebe Wood, Christopher Briney, and Jaquel Spivey. New student Katie Heron befriends social outcasts Janice and Damien, while also falling under the spell of an elite clique known as the Plastics. When Katie falls for the ex-boyfriend of Regina George, the leader of the Plastics, she teams up with Janice and Damien to take Regina down and get the guy. Mean Girls is based on the musical of the same name by Jeff Richmond, Neil Benjamin, and Tina Fey. We are now on stage 4 of the weirdly long Mean Girls timeline. Like I said earlier, this is based on the musical, which is based on the 2004 movie, which is based on the book for parents, Queen Bees and Wannabes. And for context, I have seen the original movie, but I have not seen the musical or am familiar with any of the songs. And yes, this is a musical, despite all the advertisements seeming inability to admit that. And so while I am familiar with the story but not the musical elements, this is sort of going to be a review in 2 parts. So let's start with the story. If you've seen Mean Girls before, you know what you're getting into here. For the most part, the story and the characters have been untouched, aside from a healthy sprinkling of Gen Z flavor. And considering that Mean Girls is a modern high school comedy classic, I'm not really complaining. Sure, some of the most iconic moments and jokes have been altered or straight up removed, but the new one has plenty to offer in terms of new jokes, and they mostly land. The new cast is also pretty good here too, and they're doing more than just trying to simply copy what the original characters were doing. Tina Fey and Tim Meadows also make return appearances as their original characters, and they're every bit as good as they were back in 2004. Mean Girls is such an iconic, quotable, and beloved product of its time that recreating it was always going to be kind of an impossible task, but this 2024 version holds its own, and I can't really complain about this new cast or its faithful retelling of the original story. The musical elements of this film are really where it loses me though. I'm a sucker for musicals too, so the simple fact that it is indeed a musical didn't immediately rub me the wrong way or anything. But man, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, none of the musical numbers worked for me. I didn't necessarily think they were bad, but they also didn't feel like they were adding anything at all to the movie. So many of them felt too long with such nothing lyrics, and it got to the point where I found myself getting kinda annoyed every time another musical number started up. The choreography didn't do much to excite either, and the costumes and production design in general for the musical numbers especially just felt kinda cheap to me. If you're already a fan of Mean Girls the musical, you can probably ignore basically everything I just said, but for me personally, I just really wasn't that into it. While this new version of Mean Girls is a strong enough retelling of this story, and the new cast all does a pretty good job, the musical numbers just did not land for me. And while I do respect its attempt to appeal to a younger generation with its injection of Gen Z-isms, it just doesn't feel like it makes enough of a difference when compared to the original. I honestly found myself asking why this even exists at all, and that's not a question I should be asking when watching your movie. Mean Girls is kinda whatever, and I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 10. If you enjoyed the review, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you've seen Mean Girls already, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I've been Nathan Orenstein with The No Show. Thanks for watching.